I said it in the previous election. Obama would win that election because the block of voters that he captured by technology alone would influence the entire vote. And he captured the youth, and he captured through technology. Newt, who is the best thing that the Republicans have for technology, and the reason for that is, and the reason that Newt has any sort of a chance is he knows about organizing a political campaign. And nowadays, the only way to do that effectively is to look at what the Obama administration did. You have to use social media. If you don't, you lose. Flat out, you lose. Doesn't matter what block of voters you get. Newt's doing it.
I think it's fascinating. Van, when you take a look at the fact that he was very shrewd and very smart to connect with young people early on like this, because this is something that's given him an edge in a very big way.
He really has. You know, and I go back to when I first heard him talk about this about 2.5 years ago. He really, and if you study Newt, he really is a tech geek. But, I mean, the fact that he himself went out there, I can remember him, you know, giving this speech saying it's coming, you got to get used to it, you've got to, and that you have to learn how to use it, and he's done it himself. So he's been very, very effective. You know, he was the first national candidate of either party to be on Google+.
Oh, really?
So he's used a number of social media very effectively. And again, this has all been under radar. I mean, I think just now people are beginning to look and say, "My gosh, how's he done it?" And it's pretty significant.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, because you say under the radar, is that I don't think that social media is an under the radar phenomenon anymore at all. That is a way to talk to people, that grassroots, large numbers of people, and he has been doing it. And I don't know whether that's true or not that he was first on Google+, but it's an interesting observation.
Yeah. When I say under radar, I mean under radar to the you know, the inside the beltway pundits and so forth.
The political elite out there, absolutely, that keep close watch on this and are sitting back now, scratching their heads, saying, "How? Wait a minute, what's going on here?" Going forward, though, Van, do you think that this that he's going to be able to sustain this? I mean, certainly over the last 3 weeks, he has been we've been seeing real momentum in the polls. Do you think he is going to emerge now as the solid alternative to Mitt Romney for social conservatives and others?
Well, you know, I got an email right before I came on from a friend of mine in South Carolina who's been one of the leaders for many years in the Right to Life movement in South Carolina. And she just emailed me and said she went to Congressman Tim Scott hosted a town hall meeting for Speaker Gingrich last night in Charleston, South Carolina. She told me that in her email that people were lined up for blocks, and the fire marshals finally had to cut off the crowd because the building couldn't hold any more people. So it's something's happening out there.
Something's happening. So what happened to Michelle Bachmann, though? I mean, because so many people early on thought that she was going to be the one who would be carrying that mantle and hold that for social conservatives. Why has her candidacy not taken hold in a way that some had predicted?
Well, you know, and I've actually seen evidence in the last few weeks where she's had an uptake. So I wouldn't count her out yet. I mean, Iowa's where she was born and raised. Let's see what happens there. But she's in her debate performances, I think, have been very, very good. I think what probably hurt her the most was Perry coming in and announcing on the same day that she won the Iowa straw poll and stealing a lot of her thunder.
Very interesting indeed. And as far as any movement in terms of over the next few weeks, obviously we're still 5 weeks away from the first votes being cast, but Rick Perry's campaign and Michelle Bachmann, Herman Cain and his problems, how do you think this is going to play out over the next few weeks between now and Iowa?
It's going to be a very, very interesting next few weeks. I think next 8 weeks, I would say. I think Iowa, New Hampshire, and I think South Carolina is very important. You know, the one thing about South Carolina is the Republican nominee going back to 1980 when they had their first primary in South Carolina has always won the nomination. South Carolina has always picked the Republican nominee. So, and it's a I spoke yesterday to the state GOP chairman there, Chad Connolly. He said it's wide open. Rick Perry's got a good ground game in South Carolina. Has picked up a lot of endorsements.
Well, he made his announcement from South Carolina.
Yes, and the Speaker of the House just endorsed him a couple weeks ago in South Carolina. So it's going to be very competitive there. And of course, Fox is going to host the big presidential debate, I think on January 16th, live from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Exactly, exactly. Well, it's great to see you as always. We really appreciate your insights. I know you are keeping close watch on all the developments as they unfold. Are you ready to make any outright predictions at this point?
I think it's. But I think right now it's starting to look like it is going to be a Romney Gingrich race. But let's see what happens with Bachmann and Santorum also in Iowa. He's got a pretty good little cadre of Iowa caucus supporters. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, terrific. Thank you. Great to see you, as always. We'll check back with you. And the other thing on that point about Iowa, one thing we have to remember that in Iowa, you have to have amazing organization for those caucuses.
Yes, you do. I mean, that's the thing about behind the curtain of running for office. It's not so glamorous. That you talk about a ground game. In any state, it doesn't matter what it is, you have to have very, very, very strong organizational skills and experience, which Newt does have. And Romney's been around the block on this himself.
Yeah, the caucuses are going to be, that's a whole different situation as opposed to the regular primaries, but they are so organized out there, and they take it real seriously. Those voters are very, very serious about who they are going to support, and it'll be very interesting to see how this